how to add and modify a place. So in this section, I'm going to show you just really quickly how to add and modify places. So the first thing you do want to do, once again, and I'm sorry I'm being repetitive, but this is a very important point, is you want to make sure that you're at the correct zoom level. So if I'm too zoomed out, I will not be able to add a place. Once again, we want you to be very precise when you make edits, so you do need to be zoomed in. So first thing, zoom in. Second thing, make sure the layer for places is turned on. So go to the layers menu here on top, make sure to turn places on. And then you'll see all your little teal squares populate for every place that's around here. If you want to add a new place, so let's say this building here, over which I'm hovering currently, this one, that's a new hotel. So we want to add a new hotel to the database. So first off, left click on add place here. Second thing, find the spot in the middle of the roof where you want your place to be located visually. So this is pretty much in the middle of what we think is going to be the hotel. So left click there. Okay, so it's now populated, but let me explain to you what you're actually seeing right now. So the first little button here, this little icon, this is the display point. So the display point is an icon that shows you where that place will be visible visually on your GPS unit. So this is the display point. The second point is this one here. This is the routing point. So that is where you will be sent to when you want to navigate to the place. And importantly, they're both modifiable. You can move where they are. So let's say I accidentally clicked at the wrong place and it's actually centered over this section of the roof, and that's where I want it displayed in my GPS units. I can just left click on the display point and drag it to the correct location. Same thing for the routing point. So the routing point automatically populated on the road closest to where I clicked when I dropped my display point initially. But let's say it's actually off this road here, Avenue de l'Hôtel de Ville. I would left click on the routing point here and just simply move it to the other road and move it to the correct location where the entrance actually is. So let's say the entrance is here, and that's it. I've placed my routing point so people will be routed to the correct location, and I've placed my display point so people will be able to see it at the correct location on their GPS. So once that's done, first thing you want to do is hit save. Again, I will not do it because this is not an actual hotel, but when you do it, make sure to save. Next up, attribution, similar to roads. So you add the thing, then after you add the attributes to the thing. So you can either go through all these categories. If you're not sure what you want to add, you can just expand all these menus, look for what you want to actually add. And there are hundreds of categories, so I really encourage you to look through all this. And there's no way that I can show you all this right now, but feel free to look at it. So for this, we want to add a hotel. So we know that that's what we're looking for, so I'll search for it using this search bar here. So let's write hotel, and it appears here, so we'll do hotel, left click. So two things I want to mention right off the bat. Notice that this square here has a red border on it, and this square here has a yellow border around it. So red means that this is an attribute that place absolutely has to have included for us to put it in our database. If it has a red square around it, make sure to absolutely fill that in. If it has a yellow square over it, that means that it's something that's important, that we really do want it, but it won't stop us from necessarily adding it. It just might hang in limbo for a while until we're able to get that information. So rule of thumb, just add as much information as you possibly can. Fill out all these squares if you can. Find the phone number, the website, etc. But as a priority, do the red ones first and then the yellow ones second. So for this hotel, let's call it WeMap In. WeMap In. And again, you can add multiple names to a place. Sometimes names can have places can have local names, but can also have an official name. So this gives you the power to add multiple names to the place. If it happens to be a chain, let's say it was a Holiday Inn, you can choose that from the chain menu here. Address, this is very important. Make sure to add the street address. So let's say it's 75 Avenue de l'Hôtel de Ville. Next, postal code, contact info. Just make sure to populate as much stuff as you possibly can. And importantly, for the purposes of WeMap, this is where you would modify wheelchair access. So this menu down here, you can choose what kind of wheelchair access the place has. And also opening hours is another thing that we give you the possibility to add as well. And it's some really granular information that we do like to have. So again, once you've added all this info, make sure to hit save here at the top. and we'll be able to then look at and integrate your change. So we're going to cancel, but again, make sure to hit save. If you want to modify an existing place, similar concept, except that you don't really need to add it. Just left click on the existing place. So let's take this one here, Parc de Bouillon. And then you can just go ahead and modify all the attributes as needed. And you can also drag it to the correct location if necessary, if you don't think it's currently at the correct location. So that's how you would add and modify a place. Next section and last section is where I will show you how to modify or add a house number. Last but not least, house numbers. So the concept of house numbers and how you add them and modify them in Map Creator is really similar to places and a lot of other attributes that you can actually modify in the program. So you probably see me coming with the first thing I'll say, but first off, make sure that you're zoomed in. If you're zoomed out, you won't be able to add it, so make sure to be at the correct zoom level. Next up, and you can probably guess what I'm going to say as well, make sure to have house numbers turned on in your layers menu. And we're going to turn places off just because we don't want too much clutter here. So house numbers are now on, and they have appeared on my dashboard. So now we can go ahead and modify existing ones or add new ones. So let's start by adding a new one. So first thing you want to do is go to the Add New Controls menu, hover over house number, and we're going to use this same hotel spot that we used previously. We're going to add an address to that location. So left click on Add a House Number, go to, once again, the center of the roof of the location for which you want to add the address, and then left click when you're confident you're at the right spot. And that's it. Again, you get a display point here and you get a routing point here, and you can move them once again as necessary depending on your needs. So let's say, again, the center of the roof is here, and we do want to move the routing point to this other street here. We can do that as well. So let's drag that to this street, the correct location where the user will be routed. And that's it. After that, simply add the actual number, the actual address number that you want to add. So for this one, let's just make it 3713, 3713. And it also gives you the possibility to add a building name as well. So, you know, this is not the Empire State Building, but you can add that if that's what you wanted to do. Once you're confident enough that you've attributed it properly, simply hit save once again, and that's it. You're done. Super simple. So we're going to cancel this. To modify an existing one, again, very simple. Just left click on one of these boxes. So let's say this changed from 3675 to 3677. So left click, 3675, change that to a 7, and you hit save, and that's it.